Hey guys, we're back out in the garage working on the Tacoma, and today we're going to hook up some awesome Auxbeam off-road lights and a really cool switch panel. Stay tuned. Okay guys, so we teamed up with Auxbeam Lighting. They hooked us up with a couple of set of the off-road pod lights that they have and this really cool 8-gang switch panel. This is a new product for them. It's really cool. I'm going to get more in depth obviously on the items that we're going to be installing. This thing's super cool. And I also picked up some ditch light brackets, which I'm going to put a set of those up on the hood, and then another set will be in the bumper. And these are a newer product that they have as well, where they're able to switch your lenses from amber to clear, so you can have the option of having either one. I'm going to hook these up amber. Okay guys, I'll just show you what you get in the box really quick. I'm not going to do like this whole unboxing thing, but when you buy these from Auxbeam, they're going to send you some cool stickers and promotional mounting instructions and some promotions. So when you get these, I already switched these lenses to amber, but when they come in the box, they'll actually be a clear lens, and then they give you the amber lenses to, you just pull the 4 screws out and you can switch your lens. So that way you got an option of having either or. I'm going to run these amber right now. I'm going on an off-road trip here in a few weeks, and this actually, the amber light will perform better in heavy snow and some adverse conditions. Actually helps to cut through the obstructions, you know, whether it be snow or light drizzle or rain. So that's, we'll run that. They give you some mounting brackets for them. It's really nice hardware. Looks like stainless hardware and some nice heavy duty brackets. And a full wiring harness kit with a switch and all waterproof connectors. That's actually pretty nice. It feels like pretty quality stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna get these hooked up. So a set of these I'm going to put in the Coastal Off-Road front bumper. And like I said, the other set is going to go up on the hood with the ditch light brackets. Another really cool product that Auxbeam sent us was their 8-gang switch panel. This thing is actually really freaking cool. Pop this guy open and show you what you get. I did already open this because I was so excited when I got it. Another pamphlet for that. This gives you all of your stickers for your actual switch panel. So the switch panel will be mounted inside, and then you can label, you know, whether you got, you know, heated seats, siren, light bar, light cubes, you know, front, rear, backup car. I mean, there's a whole bunch in here. They give you some blanks, so if you don't end up using all of them right away, you have some options. You know, if you hook it up to a plow, I'm assuming, up, down, left, right. So that's pretty cool. The actual switch panel, this is really neat. I mean, it all feels like quality stuff, you know. This feels like actually a good set of kit. So, you know, buttons feel nice and got good feedback. And this has some features that we're going to go over once I actually get this installed in the truck. I'll give you some mounting brackets, some add a fuse stuff, some hardware, wiring, the actual plug-in for the wiring to the switch panel. Bunch of zip ties, more brackets. It's like a 60 amp breaker. And then this guy, which this is really cool. This will actually be mounted under the hood. So this is actually what you hook all of your switch wires to. They'll all get hooked into these outlets, or whatever you want to call them, and everything is fused. And that way, as you switch on and off your items, then this will trigger the on and off of whatever you're trying to power or turn on and off. And it also gives you, you know, a positive and a ground. It's nice heavy duty stuff again there. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into installing this stuff. So first and foremost, when we get started, I'm gonna put the ditch light brackets on. I did pick these up from Rago Fabrication. These are a nice, definitely a nice piece of fabrication. They're stainless steel, they're powder coated, they feel really quality. So I just really like the part. They're not sponsored, they're not sponsoring this video, but I just somehow, Rago, if you see this, great job. This is a really nice ditch light set. It seems really sturdy and heavy duty. But these are pretty easy to put on. You know, they just come up from the bottom, and then you bolt them on. Your hood bolts are. Bolt those into place, and then you mount your light up here. Okay, so put the ditch light brackets on, pretty easy. Like I said, there's 2 bolts for your hood to hold your hood on. Take those bolts out, and then you're gonna put this up against it, put the bolts back in. Pretty straightforward. I always mark where your hood's at right here, so you have an idea, because it might move around on you and then it won't close properly. So make sure that you know where your hood needs to be. Once you start getting the second bolt out, the hood's going to want to start moving around a little bit on you, so be ready. Hold on to it so it doesn't flip up on you. Ditch light bracket just comes from behind. Just got to line everything up. Throw the bolt on the ground. Voila, hood brackets are on. Okay, so now we need to set these lights up to be able to mount to the ditch light brackets. They give you this, they give you a bag of hardware, nice big heavy duty bolt to hold it to the bracket itself. Okay, so now we can set up the light to mount to the ditch light brackets. So I took the bolts out of here, and this bracket just mounts simply to the bottom holes. There's a couple of sets of holes. You can mount it up a little bit higher, or if you're doing something different, you can go up here. Up here makes sense more for what I'm doing. So this guy's pretty straightforward. Just line up. You know, put this bolt in here first, because you won't be able to get it in there once the bracket's on. Go ahead and drop that guy in there. Tighten that up. Flip it over, do the other side. Snug everything up, and then you can, you know, adjust what you want, angle and height and everything once you get it on the ditch light bracket. So that's set up now, and we'll go over and throw it on the ditch light bracket. Okay, pretty straightforward. We already have the bolt installed, obviously, from over there. Drop that through. Washer, lock washer, and nut. One thing that's nice too is the light bracket actually has some flats in it for the top of the head of the bolt to grab onto, so that this way this isn't swiveling around. Obviously, you can try to fit a wrench in here. So that's nice. You just tighten up that nut and you're good. I think what I'm gonna do is have an angle to the side, and then the ditch light bracket has a slot in it that can go this way or that way. So I think I'm actually gonna try it all the way out, so it's kind of hidden. So when you're sitting in the driver's seat, these aren't in your way while you're driving. May have to trim this bolt off a little bit so it doesn't, I'll see when I close the hood if it hits the fender. If it does, I'll just have to knock the threads off that a little bit. But so far so good, looks pretty good. And then you're gonna run your wire down, pop that guy out there, and then also, it's hard to see on camera. If you look closely at the ditch light brackets, they give you these little slots for zip ties, so that way you can tie your wiring back and not have it get in the way. And then it'll end up underneath there. All right, boom, that's what it looks like. That is pretty nice. The lights fit really well on there. They look really good. I think I'm first gonna try them angled off to the side. Obviously easy just to crack that nut loose and spin them straight if you want to change the angle. Obviously you can change the elevation as well. So that's gonna be something we'll have to try at night. You know, I'll show you guys at the end of the video too what all these lights are gonna look like at night with everything turned on. But I think I'm going to actually trim this bolt off. I don't like how far it sticks out, so I'm just gonna throw it on the bandsaw and chop that guy off. All right, there we go. Got the lights all bolted on, mounted up. Here's the other side. Turned out really nice. And actually, I mean, Auxbeam, these seem like really quality lights. You know, everything is well made. Fit and finish is really nice. The Rago ditch light brackets, it's awesome that they have these little holes for your zip ties. That's just something that I would have never thought about. I think that's very clever, and good job on that, guys. And so yeah, it runs down, goes underneath the hood, and everything is nice and doesn't worry about getting your wires pinched or anything like that. So that's a really nice finished look. So now we're going to work on getting the wiring harness all set up for these. Okay, now for the wiring harness for the lights. It's actually a pretty good wiring harness. It's all coated and all the wires are covered, protected. Gives you a relay. And obviously you're gonna hook your power, your hot and your ground. They'll hook that up to a constant 12-volt source. So obviously a battery. They do have the waterproof connectors that go to the lights. So nice quality connectors, got the push release on them. And then also a switch, which you'll run into the cab. A couple different ways you can do that, but since we're using the switch panel, this will actually be wired into the switch assembly on that, so we actually won't be using this and running this into the cab. It'll actually remain under the hood. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and get this hooked up.
Okay, so I have the harness mostly installed. So what I did is actually modified the harness. This is the one side. Now both of these leads going to the lights are probably 6 to 8 feet long. You've got plenty of length to make it if you're going to a bumper, you know, up on the ditch lights, all that stuff. So I just shortened this one to about a foot long because it's only going right to here. So that way I don't have a bunch of mess of wires in here. I already have enough. So I did that. I soldered, made a really good connection there. Should be good and waterproof. Put a little tiny bit of dielectric grease on these connections. They're already waterproof, but I always like to put a little bit of dielectric grease on connections, especially when they're exposed to the elements. Do that, plug this guy in. I'm gonna hook these up really quick just to show you. Positive, negative, pretty easy. And then this is your switch. Hit the switch and boom, light comes on. So it's pretty straightforward on how to hook the harness up. Then you would obviously run this into your cab and hook it up to a switch or whatever. Use this switch and mount it to the dash. So the harness hooking this up is very, very simple. But so now what we're going to do, since we have this hooked up and I'll have the front bumper lights hooked up, then we can start working on the switch panel. Okay, so before we jump in to start installing this guy, I want to show you what all comes in the box. So it'll come with this sticker panel, which I talked about earlier, and it has all kinds of different stickers and different things you can use it for. You get the switch assembly, which has all the inputs for all of your switch side of whatever your circuit you're running. It's fused. These are the connectors back here for your switch panel inside the vehicle. Positive, negative. Give you a few different mounting options. You can flush mount it, you can angle mount it. I'm going to use this one. The switch panel itself, and this is the wire that will run between here and here. So when you mount this in the truck, that'll connect everything. They give you a few different mounting options for this as well. This angled bracket, and then this flush mount, which again, I'm going to be using the angled bracket. A handful of hardware, instruction guide, positive and negative to hook up to the switch assembly, circuit breaker, and then your add a fuse for whatever circuit you tie this guy into, and a handful of zip ties to tidy everything up. Okay, so that's where the switch assembly is going to end up right here. I open that guy up, and there she is. And also, too, they give you spare fuses and a fuse puller. Nice addition to that as well. So I just grabbed a couple of stainless self-tapping screws onto the bracket there, and so now we can start running power and the line for the switch. Okay, so here inside the cab, so this is where I had my switch hooked up for my bumper lights originally, and this is actually an OEM Toyota switch. I'll include a link to it in the description. It's really nice. It fits these blank off caps. It snaps right in there perfectly. It's only like $12 on Amazon, so I'll throw that on there for you guys. So if you're just hooking up one light set, this is perfect. You turn it on and off, the little light lights up and everything. Perfect. I'm going to mount the Auxbeam switch panel right here. And what I'm actually thinking I might do is grab I saved the other blank off plate. I'm going to pull the switch out, snap the blank off plate, and actually drill my holes in the blank off plates for the mounting. And then that way, if I ever want to go back to stock for whatever reason, I'll be able to replace the blank off plates, and then you won't ever be able to tell this was here. And it'll be nice out of the way. It won't obstruct the 12-volt ports. So I'm going to drill those and get this guy mounted. Okay, there it is, mounted to this center console piece. I just drilled the 2 blank plates and then put a little bit of silicone adhesive on there to keep them in there. Fits really nice. So now I need to run this wire. So this actually will thread together there, and this end plugs in on the switch assembly on this guy. So that's my next step. I'm going to get this guy popped back in there and then put this in, and then we should be able to start getting some power to it. Okay, got that guy mounted. Turned out pretty darn nice. Sitting there, I mean, it's easy to reach with your hand, no problem. Hit the button. So I think that's a pretty good spot. And I already ran the cable up through. There's a rubber grommet in the firewall that I was able to run it through, and then I plugged it in. Right here, so that's all good to go. Now we can start running power. Okay, so if we're hooking the power to the actual switch controller, you'll have like some main like 4 or 6 gauge battery cable that you have to run. This one is the ground, which I just ran up, and then the ground for the truck is right here.
So I tied into there really nice. And then the positive side will come from here and obviously go to the positive side of the battery. Now the thing you have to do, this will have a circuit breaker built in. So you'll have, you know, this will go to the battery. This end will go to one end of the circuit breaker. And this one will go from the circuit breaker to the switch panel. Okay, so I got our positive side hooked up. There's a circuit breaker here. That runs over to the positive side of the battery. I also tied in the wires for the switches. So I'm just hooking up the switched side of the relay. So it would be like the cold side, if you will. And you just hook that up to that. So then this will supply positive 12 volts to the relay to click the relay on to turn the lights on. So we go inside. Panel is powered up right now, which you can change the colors on this, and it's also Bluetooth, so you can use an app as well. So if we click this guy on, that turns on the bumper lights. You can see the amber up there, and it lights up the little red light telling you it's on. This guy, click that one on, that kicks the ditch lights on, and then I have a third set up for rock lights. But the only other thing that's left to do now is this goes to the second set of prongs that are open here, and all this has to do is go to a switched 12 volt source. I just had it hooked up here just to get it to fire up, and so I just need to figure that out. They do give you an add a fuse right here, so you can just tie that into your fuse panel, whichever one works out best for you. Got everything buttoned up underneath the hood, and all I had to do is run the add a fuse into here, and that ties in to a fuse that's only hot with the ignition on, so it works out perfect. And then ran it to the ground on the firewall, so it turned out nice. And you see we have power. So now when I hit the first button, I get the bumper lights. Hit the second switch, I get my ditch lights, and then the third switch is for my rock. Alright, one last thing to do inside is actually put the stickers on. I'm going to probably put the hood light on, and then there's bumper light, and then rock light somewhere on the rock right there. So I'll put those on. Now they do say in the instructions to use maybe have some isopropyl alcohol, wipe down the panel just because you've been touching it. So these will stick really well for you. Also, another thing to note, this instructions is very well laid out, very easy to understand, and they've done a very good job there. And then on the back side, this shows you where to get the app from and how to use it, basically a user manual. And so we're going to get to that. I'm going to show you guys that here in just a minute. All right, guys, it's been actually a little while, maybe about a little over a month since the last clip you've seen of me installing the switch panel in the truck. And I wanted to actually see how the lights were going to work, how things were going to work, how dependable they were going to be, and if I could actually recommend them to you guys as something that I would put our name on. And I'm happy to say, yeah, they are good lights. So what I want to do is go out. It's dark outside right now. I'm going to go jump in the truck, and I'll go show you guys how they look at night, kind of looking out from the windshield of the truck. And all right, here we are in the truck. So you can see the switch panel down here. You can adjust these light colors to whatever color that you want for your interior. I got it to match pretty darn close with the red Tacoma interior lighting, so that's pretty cool. So a cool thing is so we'll switch them on, so you'll be able to see. We're sitting in front of my house, so there's the bumper lights. I gotta adjust them, one's a little bit higher than the other. And then there's the ditch lights. Those things are really super bright. And yeah, so actually what I'm gonna do is go drive out. We'll go on a dirt road and we'll kind of see what they look like out there. All right, so here's cruising down the road. I mean, they're really freaking bright. They light up the road really well. Yeah, they work really well as far as casting the light across the road. Now, obviously I wouldn't drive with these things on. You'd blind everybody coming at you. But we're gonna pull off and we'll kind of get some better view of it. These are the HID projector headlights that I actually built and put in this truck. They're pretty darn bright, but let's go ahead and kick on the Auxbeam. So first with the bumper lights. So there you can see you kind of you cast the light off to the sides. And then if we hit it with the ditch lights, we get even more. They go off to the side. I mean, these things throw some light.
Now, I know and I understand that there are options out there that are way more expensive, and I'm not entirely sure that they would be a ton better than these guys. So yeah, I mean, bang for your buck, you can't go wrong. This switch panel is freaking cool. That thing is so much fun. So you can actually, the center button, if you double tap it, this will start flashing. So you actually, blue I believe is momentary. So literally just, you have to hold the button down to turn light on and off. It won't stay on. And then if you double tap again, and you go to green, now green is actually a strobe. So that's kind of a cool feature that they built into this. Makes it fun. You can go here, you go back to red, and red is just simply on off. All right guys, so here's a view from the front. This thing is like lit up like a Christmas tree, but they look really good. They light everything up really well. All right guys, these lights rock. I definitely think you should go get some. We're gonna have a link to a discount code for you in the description below, so go check that out. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching guys, and we'll see you in the next one.